was in a really bad fire. I basically burned over half of my body. I was 56% burned, so basically my legs, my arms, my chest, my face. When you're sick and you're chronically sick and all these doctors paint you this happy little picture that you can be out of pain, you know, you tend to get a bit desensitized. And so when I saw you the first time and you told me that, yeah, 3-4 visits, I think you're gonna be doing a lot better, we'll get you out of pain, I laughed at you. I didn't take you seriously. And then I had one adjustment and I physically could feel the change, and I could tell that it was like an adjustment that I had never had before.
I want to just kind of start off, give a little bit of a brief background, and then I just kind of want you to take over and just tell everybody everything, kind of what's been going on.
Okay, cool.
Well, actually, you might know this number better than I do. This is what visit for you?
Oh, this is my 7th.
7th visit.
6th or 7th, yeah.
Okay. And now, originally when you came in, I mean, I'm not going to dive into it yet. I'm going to let you do all that. But you were in a ton of pain. You had quite a tragic incident that happened that created this pain, and just the years that you've been dealing with issues and haven't been able to find any relief at all. And I even remember after the first visit, you kind of laughed at me. Well, not at me, but kind of what I told you almost about the treatment plan.
At the notion that like I would be feeling so great in just a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll have you explain what happened, where you, like, just everything.
Yeah. My name is Sierra Ramirez, and I started coming to Dr. Cipriano in February. I was in a really bad accident that landed me in the hospital for 4.5 months straight in a bed, not moving. I had to relearn to walk. I had walked with a cane for a while. I walked with a really bad limp, and I also walked with a really bad hump. And I was basically like that for about 1.5 to 2 years.
Now, when was that? How long ago?
So this happened in 2010, April of 2010.
Okay. So April of 2010, and then hospitalized for 4.5 months. Came out.
Yep.
Now, if I remember, were you in a coma again?
I don't remember like 3 weeks of it. So it was like medical. Kind of induced, but not induced. But yeah, there's months of it that I just have zero memory of. Yeah, completely.
Okay. So then after that, I know, like you were saying, you had to relearn to walk. Yeah,
so I had to relearn to walk. I still had a ton of injuries to my right leg. And that stayed an issue for 1.5 to 2 years. And I also walked with a real bad limp. And that basically resulted in excruciating pain that radiated from like the left side of my neck to the middle of my neck to my hips, down my leg. I know that my one leg was like shorter than the other, because even after like PT I still walked with like a little bit of a limp. And yeah, so that basically left me with chronic pain from basically head to toe.
Now, if you don't, you can answer this if you want, but what happened to you? Like, what was the accident?
So I was in a really bad fire. I basically burned over half of my body. I was 56% burned, so basically my legs, my arms, my chest, my face. And yeah, so you just can't walk when you're completely burned. And then my right leg stayed very open as far as burns. It just didn't heal for a really, really, really long time. So it was a lot of bandaging, a lot of guarding the leg, and, you know, kind of like burying my weight off of it a lot. And yeah, I think that that's probably what resulted in like my back and hips and everything kind of just being out of place.
Oh yeah. So now after the PT, relearning to walk again, you were still in pain.
Excruciating pain. It never went away.
Well, and you, so how many different medical professionals did you or have you been seeing?
15, 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that ranged from?
That ranged from physical therapists to chiropractors to acupuncturists, massage therapists. One specific clinic did the chiro, massage therapy, and acupuncture all together. I went to different doctors all over.
Pain
management included, cortisone shots in my spine, trigger shots in my neck, muscle relaxers, pain medicine, gabapentin, which is nerve pain medicine. So like you name it, they put me on it, and nothing helped.
And you've been on how much pain medication?
A significant amount.
Significant amount for years?
For the last 10 years, yeah.
Okay. So for the last 10 years, significant amount of pain medication.
Yes.
How was your daily life?
So there was no life. I really didn't have a quality of life. My days and nights ran together. I couldn't sleep. I felt just like in a complete mental fog. And everything basically revolved around how much pain am I in right now? How much pain will that activity put me in? And do I have enough pain medicine to cover that much pain that activity will put me in? And so that was basically my life. I was really lucky, and I really considered it a good week if I left the house 1 or 2 times. For me, it was a good week.
So 1 to 2 times leaving the house.
Yeah, and I was completely sleep deprived. I mean, I wasn't getting any sleep. Because
you're in pain.
Because I was in so much pain. So I was basically I was in a constant state of sleep deprivation, chronic pain, and the lack of activity only makes chronic pain worse.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So then, so I remember that, and then I even remember like some of the times you telling me, because I know this is like 6th or 7th visit, and we've talked quite a bit.
Yep.
You went from, you started not seeing any of your friends anymore. You weren't wanting to ever go out because you're always in pain.
I became completely depressed. Completely isolated myself. And I just wasn't like a really happy person. And I think as a result of that, I was just super irritable. My weight was fluctuating. I was starting to have like issues that I think were just an effect of like not being active. I was starting to have pain in areas I shouldn't have, and I don't have injuries in, just because of the fact that like I wasn't moving, I wasn't going out. I just had no motivation to do anything, and like some days it was just so hard. It was a success if I could just get up and get showered and change my clothes and put myself in a different position for the next few hours, because the pain was just that bad.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was bad.
So you went through, and I even remember that you obviously you weren't working, you were at home constantly.
Yeah.
And I even know you moved around a bit just
to go to different doctors. To go to different doctors. I was up in Raleigh, then all the way down in Charlotte, which could be sometimes an hour and 20-minute drive. Then local people. I literally spent thousands of dollars on imaging and all these different x-rays and MRIs just for them to basically give me BS diagnoses about what was wrong with me. And I always kept telling everyone, like, I don't have a back injury. Like, that my back is fine, like, but my pain is in my back. And so I had all these different doctors that were giving me all different diagnoses, which is actually what I really appreciate about you, is that you were just like, well, you don't have a back injury. This is just your body holding up to the trauma and holding into the trauma. And I really appreciate the fact that you didn't give me another diagnosis, and you're almost like too confident with the fact that like you could get me out of pain. I like didn't believe it. I'm like, this sounds too good to be true. But after the first adjustment, and I think when you're in chronic pain, you can feel when something in your body like feels good, and when things are feeling in place. And after our first adjustment, I immediately could tell that like my neck was in place. Since that day, I haven't had a single spasm. I've not been in the amount of pain since our first visit. I have not been, like, my neck, I haven't been in that much pain. And just 2 or 3 visits in, I now have a job. I have a social life again. I'm sleeping. I'm just overall happier. And I definitely feel like the medicine isn't controlling me, that I'm in control of my medicine. You're like the pot of gold and the rainbow all in one.
Because, I remember, I still remember, and then even after you telling me, like, when I said, my goal is getting every patient to about 4 times a year, about every 3 months coming in. And so you've been coming
Every 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks. And each time, because I know you've like pulled out your phone and you're like, all right, so this.
Yeah, I've been making notes. I've been making notes.
And,
yeah.
And the changes of what you felt, or things like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still remember that one time when you're like, I got a job.
Yeah.
And you're like just so happy because years you've been living your life and haven't been able to be standing. You haven't been able to really do much, and even like you said, you're always worried about your having your pain medication with you.
Yeah,
because it controlled your life.
It did control my life. I couldn't stand for long periods of time. I couldn't sit for long periods of time. Honestly, just getting in the car and driving somewhere usually just was already irritating certain spots of my body that hurt. So I was like super excited because I actually trusted my body for the first time in 10 years to like know that I can be on my feet for 8 to 10 hours, and to know that I can, first off, I'm not going to die, it's not going to be excruciating, and that it's tolerable, manageable, and that I'm actually enjoying myself. I'm enjoying being out into the real world again, and it's had like a complete shift, a mental shift, an emotional shift, a spiritual shift. So, it affects all parts of your body and your mind.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know, like that is absolutely crazy, and I know even today you've told me that you've now been able to cut down on the medication. And it wasn't, so the thing, just so you guys at home realize, is that she's been on medication for such a long time, it wasn't as much of the pain that she needed it, but more on the fact of it's a part of her, and she would have withdrawals if she didn't take it.
Right.
So I know now, like you said, you just kind of had to fight through it a little bit.
Fight through it a little bit and just taper down. Yeah, and it's nice too because I feel like the longer stretches I'm going, I'm actually able to be more active, because there are side effects with the medication. You do tend to, it's a downer, so you want to relax more and everything like that. So that's been like another perk to it, as well as that I'm actually able and willing to be more active.
That's a good thing. Able to live your life.
I'm able to live my life again, like my life isn't revolving around pain. Like for example, I can drive all the way up here from where I live, which is like a 2.5-hour drive, and I actually had to be driven my first 2 appointments because the pain was so bad I actually couldn't do the drive. Now I can drive all the way up here, and I don't need to take medicine even just for the drive. I can drive up here just fine, and like I have so much faith in my body now, and in what you're doing, and I have faith in my body, but with like the focalized adjustments on the problematic areas, and then the Y strap and the full body decompression, it's just literally like you're tackling everything. Yeah.
I know, it's still like I love knowing just from where you were and where you are now, just how great the results have been, and even in the fact of that it's not like you experienced a back injury, it was a 56% burn on the entire body, and then you were just in the ICU, and who knows what really happened, because like you said, you were out of it for first few weeks, and just with healing and whatnot, your body was just in pain. And
now it's like so much better.
And then I know you even said every now and then, so out of like the neck has been
basically completely
every now and then
just a little tweak.
And then everything else, and then now it's just been a little bit in that lower back and hip area. And it was funny, so actually earlier today she was telling me that she went to her pain management doc. When did you go to him again?
It was like 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago.
Okay. And that low back, because that's been about the only spot that ever flares up. You went to see if he'll do just like a cortisone injection, and he actually told me no, because he said he thought we were working through an issue, and that he didn't want to mess anything up, and he wanted to see where this was going. So and even he's seen the progress.
Yes. He has seen the progress. He knows that I'm working now, and I've been with him actually all these 10 years. So this is the first time where he's just seeing that I'm working again, that I'm moving around a lot more, and so he's happy to see that too, because he saw me back at my worst basically, and so I think for him he's got a sense of pride as well, that I'm flying again. You know, but you're like the, you know, when you're sick and you're chronically sick and all these doctors paint you this happy little picture that you can be out of pain, you know, you tend to get a bit desensitized. And so when I saw you the first time and you told me that, yeah, 3-4 visits, I think you're gonna be doing a lot better, we'll get you out of pain, I laughed at you. I didn't take you seriously. And then I had one adjustment and I physically could feel the change, and I could tell that it was like an adjustment that I had never had before. And as someone who had like been going to a different chiropractor pretty much every single year, I could feel when adjustment felt good. And like I told you, some chiropractors, I was leaving in more pain than when I got back. And not only did I feel relief, but I could, you know, when you're in chronic pain, I think you're really in tune with your body, and you can feel when something feels right and when it doesn't feel right. And so I could tell immediately with our adjustments that like this was feeling right, my body liked it, and you just really did know what you were doing. Yeah.
Well, of course, I would hope so.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead today.
Okay.
So I know that, well, this is technically going to be the first adjustment that I've filmed.
Right.
So just so everyone can see the process, what we've been going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the adjustments. And I mean, obviously, you know the change and from where you were to where you are now. And, you know, 6 adjustments in. And
we're going strong.
You know, 10 years of not getting anywhere. So.
Yeah. 10 years of like actively trying to, you know, trying to get better is frustrating. You kind of tend to lose hope. And when I came to you, I had basically resigned myself the last 8 months, 9 months that like I was just going to be in pain. And even though I felt like this is pain that was curable, I had resigned myself to the fact that like I wasn't going to get any better. And then I saw your videos on YouTube, and I was like, okay, if anybody can fix me and figure out what's wrong, it would be Dr. Cipriano. And sure enough, you have been the saving grace of my life. You have literally given me my life back, a life. I didn't have a life before, but yeah. So thanks to like YouTube and your recommendation, I was watching you for a few months and finally just came in, and yeah, it's exactly what I thought it would be. It's been a miracle. Honestly, it really has been like a miracle for me.
Good. See, and I'm glad because I get to see you getting better. And,
yeah.
You know, it's great to see that because, you know, I get a lot of patients in here that just, you know, they want to come in because they want to try to become YouTube famous. But, you know, when I put these videos out, like you know, you're someone who was truly in pain for years.
Yeah.
And you thought and looked and you're like, you know what, this is something different that I have not done.
Yeah.
And I'm in pain.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot.
Let's do it. I had just had my 10-year anniversary since my accident, and for me this was kind of the last go around of the effort, the mental, emotional yo-yo of like thinking I'm gonna get better and then not. And so for me this was kind of my last shot at it, and I'm so grateful that you took me in as a client because it worked. You know, lucky number 10. Lucky number 10. So yeah, it's been great that like the hard work is finally paying off, because I've been trying to get out of pain, you know, all these years. So it's been frustrating to have people time and time again tell you like, oh, this is what's wrong, you got to do this, and you know, pay thousands of dollars for imaging when in reality you figured it out on, you know, the first couple of visits.
Yes, but and I'm like, every time I see you, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so great to hear like the improvement, just every little bit that's going on.
Thanks. I'm happier now. I think you can tell, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, such a shift from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, basically.
Yep.
My life has just been like a 180 completely.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. Every month I'm like, and I'm feeling better, and this doesn't hurt anymore, and now I'm doing this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Let's get going.
Let's get going.
Cool. Face down?
Yes.
Okay.
Go through, let's check that leg length. Right side's just a little bit short.
Okay.
Hips are looking good though. Let me know if there's any pain or tenderness. Any pain with that?
Nope.
Okay. Now this down here and going into the hips, you said that's been really about the only thing, but that's more like obviously not during the day, not when you're active, like when you're finally towards the end of the day relaxing, then it hits you.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Let me have you take a deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in and out. And one more time. Good. Okay. And then bring one leg on the other side. Bring your other arm up.
Yep. Nice.
There we go. Okay. Go face down again for me, please.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to stabilize on the sacrum. Raise your right leg up for me. How's that feeling?
Difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Compare it to your left side. Easier?
Yeah.
Okay. Cross your right foot over your left. Okay. That knee. Good. Raise that leg up again.
Oh wow.
Good.
It's going higher.
Good. So yeah, what happened, that sacrum was just rotating towards the left side, which was why that left side was easier and you could raise it up higher.
Yeah.
So when I did those drops, I was just rotating that back to the midline and then just balancing it out. So then obviously when you raise that leg up, one, it was easier, two, it could go up a little bit higher.
Total difference. Yeah, that's awesome.
So still just a tiny bit off with this. Let me have you lay on your side and face me this way. Okay.
The other side. Ooh.
There we go.
That was loud.
Lay on your back.
Okay.
Those leg pulls in. Take some pressure off the ankles, the knees, and the hips.
Ooh. Nice.
Come on up. And actually, let me have you stand up. Go ahead and stand right here. Arms up. Yep, hands on top of mine.
Yep.
Good. Fall back. Squeeze your elbows a little tighter. Good. Okay. And then, take a seat right here for me. And then let your arms, yep, just rest.
My favorite part.
Favorite part. Yeah, so this with the Y strap, I know this was one of the main reasons and main devices that got you out of that.
Yeah, definitely. Woo! Every time, and I know it's coming.
There we go.
Every time.
What did you feel?
Oh man, it felt like, you know when like there's a bunch of dominoes on the floor and you hit one, just domino effect of cracking. Yeah, it felt great. It felt so good.
Good.
It felt like a total stretch and put back together.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Awesome.
Come on up. Come forward for me a little bit. Check up top here real quick. Good. Just a little one on the one side there.
Yeah. Feels good.
Gosh, yeah.
Feels good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I know for you, you've
I know.
had this done quite a few.
Yes.
But
Everything feels like, whew, so loose and really relaxed, honestly. My neck was like a little bit tight too coming in. That just feels like completely back. Something else I didn't mention was my range of motion. I didn't have a lot when I first started coming, and I've gotten that back completely in my neck. So that's been another added like perk to come in here. But yeah, I feel great. I feel really good.
Well, until next time.
Until next time.
We'll keep everyone updated just so they know. I mean, because your story is not a typical, your normal story that you hear all the time, and I mean just what you've been through, and you know, obviously glad to see that one, you're doing better, but two, you know, if it wasn't for social media, you would have never. I would have never found you.
Yeah, I would have never found you. So I'm really grateful that you're doing the YouTube thing, and you really are super accessible. I just, you know, my dad sent an email, and we were in here in just, you know, a couple weeks. So like, I really appreciate the fact that like you're making yourself known, because I think more people. This is like changing lives. I think if you're in pain, guys, and you're frustrated with your current doctors, try something different. Sometimes the answer is just as simple as like the right chiropractor. Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
It is. Thank you.
Awesome.